This video is sponsored by Legacy Precious Metals. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're gonna be talking about why you should be implementing switching sides into your game.
And we're gonna be discussing why we believe a lot of coaches or a lot of fighters don't switch sides themselves. So stick around.
Booyah! What up, everybody? Everybody, what's up, everybody? Before we get into the video, a quick word from this video's sponsor, Legacy Precious Metals. Did you know that in recent history, when the stock market has plummeted, gold has held its value and even increased? Legacy Precious Metals is the company that I trust when investing in gold and silver. They've been super helpful and their staff is so easy to talk to. We all know the economy is in trouble and 2023 doesn't look like it's going to be a good year. As a fighter, wealth preservation is really important to me. I need to know my money is secure and not disappearing with inflation or with the stock market pullback. Legacy Precious Metals has a free gold guide that will answer all your questions about investing in gold and silver. Click the link in the description to download or call them at 866-849-3356. So starting off, why we think you should be switching sides is switching sides makes it very, very difficult for your opponent to figure you out and to prepare for.
If your opponent is constantly switching sides, and you hear it all the time when people prepare for you, even Volkanovski talking about preparing for Yair Rodriguez, it is extremely difficult and very stressful throughout camp.
And it's hard for your opponent to prepare for you and harder to figure out. Because when you're out there and you're coming out left side forward, right, for the whole first round, and then halfway through the second, you end up switching sides on them when they're just about to try to figure you out. They gotta rethink everything that they discussed in the corner. You done switch sides on, changing the whole game up. So it's very, very frustrating when you're facing off against somebody that switches sides. I mean, you hear it from guys all the time. Wonderboy, you're very hard to prepare for it, and that's one of the reasons. Because I switch sides constantly.
That's right, and we're not talking about switching sides in the sense of switching sides just to switch sides.
No.
We mean actually being effective from both sides, the switch stance. It just really gives your opponent other things to think about, which can be exhausting in and of itself. So reason number one, you guys should switch sides.
Hard to figure out and to prepare for. Let's go.
Reason number two why you should start switching sides
is spreading damage. Spreading the damage. And here is why. I'm gonna give out a few examples. Number one, if you go back and watch the Jose Aldo and Uriah Faber fight, during the fight, Uriah Faber kept getting kicked. Jose Aldo was eating that leg up, man.
This was back when Jose Aldo loved to throw leg kicks.
Yeah, like all
Not
the time.
later in his career where he just stopped.
But this is just one example. Took a lot of damage to that front leg. And you saw during the fight, he tried to switch sides, but he just couldn't do it. He wasn't comfortable being from this position to be able to throw hands. So he kept putting his left side back forward. And every time he did, Jose Aldo just kept digging that leg. He just took a ton of damage in that fight because of that. So if he was able to switch sides, for instance, when I fought Vicente Luque, I took like 3 low calf kicks right off the bat, man. And I felt it because I was limping for a week after that fight, just from those 3 calf kicks. But I didn't want to keep taking damage there. So all I did was to defer that, I switched sides. Number one, we call this an open stance. If you're gonna hit me with that back leg, I'm gonna make you pay for it. It's easier for me to check, and most everybody will not do that low kick straight to the shin for fear that they're gonna hurt themselves. But not only that, is as they throw that leg kick, it puts me in a position when they're off balance to check it and to counter back. So I'm able to switch sides to spread the damage out. The farther I can spread that damage out across my entire body instead of just one area, the longer I can fight.
You got to work to be effective both offensively and defensively from either side forward. We can't just switch sides only to minimize damage. Your opponent is gonna pick up on that and they're gonna keep smoking that leg every time you switch back to throw your offense. So you gotta work both offensively and defensively from both sides.
Moving on to number 3, you have more weapons in your arsenal. Sweet T, explain.
More weapons being that you just have more target points to hit your opponent. Every opponent has 2 sides to their body. They have multiple openings, but depending on what side you have forward determines your ease of access to those said targets.
Ooh.
For example, if we are in a closed stance right here, which is primarily what you're gonna see, then my opponent knows his vulnerabilities in his fighting stance. I know his vulnerabilities in his fighting stance. That's common knowledge. Presumably, this guy has been working really, really hard to kind of iron those holes out in his game because he understands I have the inside leg kick here, I have the outside leg kick here. Obviously, I can go to the body from here. I can hit the chin here. And this is great for head kicks because a lot of people like to dive to the inside. But because he knows that, and he knows that I know that, he's gonna work hard to eliminate those things. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch sides, and my targets are the same, but they're coming from different angles. I'm attacking them from different angles because I am able to switch sides. I still have the outside leg kick. I still have the inside leg kick. I still have the body kicks from both sides, and I can strike the head from both sides. A lot of people, back to Dan Stitchin, you versus Dan Stitchin, even Whitaker likes to throw this combo. Hitting that head over that lead shoulder is not common.
It usually comes from that open stance area, right?
That's
it's
right.
easier to hit because you don't have a shoulder to worry about.
Yep.
So that's one of the reasons why being able to read my opponent mid-fight, knowing what this guy likes to do, let me know that, okay, I'm gonna switch to my left side forward, and I'm gonna go over top, because I knew he was dropping that front hand every time he would jab. Switch sides for me, and that's when I went from here, I switched sides, I knew it was coming, power kick over top of the shoulder, it was there. I wouldn't be able to do that if I was in here, because you know he was ready for the head kick. But I knew once that jab would drop, I had an opening there, so I ended up switching sides. To be able to read that and be able to switch sides just made all the difference in the world.
This also goes back to point number 1, becoming more difficult to read and more difficult to prepare for. Switching sides.
Booyah!
Reason number 4 on why you should learn how to switch sides today.
Angle changes, guys. You have better angles, more angles if I'm able to switch sides. What helps me out with that is the fact that I can have my left side forward. I can throw a technique and angle off and have my right foot in front ready to immediately strike back. If I were to angle off to the side, right? Let's say I throw a right hand and I angle off to the side. Most people aren't good at throwing power techniques from their other side, but I am because I work both sides. I'm instantly ready to throw power after power shot. Right hand being my power shot because it's behind. Bang, I step off. My left hand being a power technique because it's my backhand. Boom. Example, Patrick Kotek. The guy ended up trying to take me down. I defended the takedown. As soon as he stood back up, I hit him with a right hand. Boom. I step off to the side. Having my right foot in front, I switch sides in that movement. People always ask me, how do you able to switch sides so fast? I do it while I'm striking. So it's harder for my opponent to figure that out as well. So I throw that right hand, bang, I step. Now it's my power shot. I've got the angle. Boom! Right there as well. Another good example of good angle changing from this position is when I fought George Masvidal. He threw the jab, boom, I step off to the side, I hit him with the right hand, I'm able to switch back. After I hit him, well, actually I knocked him down with that one. But being able to switch sides and being able to have power techniques immediately without having to step off to the side and have to put my left side back forward in order to strike again.
Now, another great example of WB switching sides is him versus Vicente Luque. In fact, Dominic Cruz picked up on it during his commentary. Of
course
how
he would.
great you are to switch stances in the pocket. How smooth you do it backing up, you do it going forward. If you can strike close to equal from both sides, then you really do increase the amount of angles, the amount of directions you can go in at any given moment in time, and you become a little bit more slippery in the pocket, if you will. Now, it doesn't come without its cons, obviously.
Oh my
You
gosh,
can
yes.
get caught switching stances in the pocket.
Guilty.
WB knows that.
Kevin
but
Holland, Jake Ellenberger, not good.
it's still, though, a little bit more on the positive side than it is the negative side if you're really good at it and you work it a lot.
Yes! Reason number 5 makes game planning a whole lot easier. Sweet Tea, explain.
Now, like we mentioned before, people have holes in their games whether they like it or not. We're constantly working to eliminate the holes on a regular basis. But with that being said, inevitably, they're gonna be there still. And the best fighters of the world with the best coaches, they're gonna be able to exploit those. Case in point, you have Dricus versus Robert Whitaker, which took place this past weekend.
Beautiful game planning.
Beautiful game planning. Dricus picked up on the fact that Whitaker's previous opponents really did a great job sticking him with that lead hand jab from the southpaw. Now, Dricus isn't naturally a southpaw fighter, but for the specificity of Robert Whitaker in that fight, he knew that Whitaker loved to blitz in. He saw Cannonier be effective with it, even Darren Till, and so he figured,
We'll switch sides.
I'm gonna switch sides and I'm gonna use that right jab.
Take
He
that
worked
blitz
it
away.
beautifully. So, Whitaker is obviously used to fighting orthodox people. He knows that, so he has that head kick set up. Boom. But Dricus switched sides because Whitaker does like to blitz. So you come in, boom, just stuck that jab right out there. Whitaker ran right into it, making that jab even more powerful. Dricus did a great job game planning for that specific fight. Also, Volkanovski versus Yair Rodriguez. WB, what's one of Rodriguez's favorite tools to go to in a fight?
The body kick.
The body kick.
He loves delivering a body kick.
He loves that body kick. It's like his go-to tool. But what did Volkanovski do? Kept switching sides. He never let Yair get a bead on his stance switch and what side he was going to have forward so that he could unload that body kick, boom, even from the other side. Because Yair switches sides, he throws that body kick, but every time he'd switch back, he kept giving Yair something to think about, virtually eliminating that body kick. What a game plan.
And let me tell you, when you have an opponent that switches sides like that, while you're trying to figure them out or try to get a beat on them, they're punching you in the face. They're kicking you while you're thinking about that mid. So it's almost like who is it that Joe Rogan says all the time? He just moves like a snake. Yeah, I'm always switching sides. Even if you're not noticing, I'm always switching sides, luring my partner in to different things, and then I'm able to attack.
It's again, it throws people off. It throws people out of their rhythm. So got to learn to switch sides today.
For those of you that are going to give this a try, everybody should be watching this video, should be giving this a try. Start off slowly. You don't want to go right into sparring because you don't have the ranges right. You don't have the techniques developed yet on that one side. So you want to start off slow. So if it's bag work, start off switching sides and just developing the jab from there. Just in and out, developing the power in your non-dominant hand as well. And slowly but surely, once that starts to develop, then we want to go try that in sparring. Just every now and then switch sides to try and confuse your opponent, especially your teammates. They know how you spar. They know you're going to keep that one side forward, but once you switch it up on them, see how it works.
A great time to try that out is whenever you're going against somebody who is less experienced than you are. I wouldn't go out there and try this versus somebody who has as much, if not more experience than me, because you're going to have a field day exploiting your weaknesses in that area. But say you have somebody with less experience than you, it's a great time for you to work what you're not great at, and switching sides might be one of those things for you. Also, don't focus just on your offensive techniques from both sides. You gotta also focus on your defensive holes as well from both sides. So you gotta continue to focus on your whole game, whether you have your left side forward or your right side forward, and going against somebody who has less experience than you or who might be newer than you is a great time to work those things. Now, WB, why do you feel like a lot of fighters out there not switch sides?
Well, a lot of these guys are trying to get to the top very, very quickly, right? And it's a lot easier to develop that dominant side, that one side, a whole lot faster than it is to be able to switch sides. It takes more time, and everybody wants to get to the top very, very quickly. And it's easier to coach. It's easier for a coach to sit there and stay focused on this one guy, make all of his students keep this one side forward, makes it a lot easier on me as well. So I think some of it maybe has to do with the coaches, but a lot of it has to do with trying to get to the top very, very quickly.
That's right. Spend most of your time, most of your energy focusing on one side instead of spreading all of that energy thin among both sides. Makes sense. Also, I think it requires a little bit of humility as well, especially if you're somebody who's not new to the game. You have things that you like to do. Maybe you are one of the better ones on the mat, and it does require a little bit of humility to switch sides and maybe have the youngster or the new guy kind of pick you apart a little bit because you are switching sides. So it does require some humility and extra time and sacrifice to develop both sides. But as we here at Pitch Black and Upstate Karate believe, it is well worth it for you guys to invest time switching sides.
It will take your game to a whole nother level. Go try it out. Switch sides. Think outside the box a little bit, if you will, and go do it. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me and Sweet Tea on this Technique Tuesday. You guys are the best. Catch you on the flip side. Hit that subscribe button. Throw some comments down below. You know the deal. Catch y'all later.
Peace.